nature of consciousness is to move toward the completion of the pictures you put in your consciousness. So if you start with a stillness, and then you have a wish, then you have a goal, then you're moving toward the completion of your goal. And along the way, of course, events in the outer world are moving you towards that. But also along the way, you're having other goals. Hey, it would also be nice if, and that would be nice if, and I would like this, and so the path toward fulfillment, I can say, is not so direct. It becomes a bit more complex in interacting with others. And at the same time, if we look at our lives, if we look back at our lives, we can recognize at some point we made a decision. It would be nice to have something, to do something, to achieve something, to experience something. And then at another point in our life, it happens. It happens. So it's like we've asked something from the universe, and the universe delivers it in some way that's in accord with what we let ourselves to believe is possible. So these esoteric principles, they're not just mind games. The objective is for us to understand our life and how it works and how things happen. And so when we can see this as an operative principle in our life, that we are moving toward the completion of goals that we have established or asked for earlier, the next question is what happens when we reach the end of a lifetime and we haven't yet experienced all of the things that we've asked for. And so, as I see it, we go to the other side and we look around and we ask ourselves, where is there another storyline that continues this process of the delivery of things that I have asked for? Okay, there's one. I can jump into that movie down there and see it through the eyes of that character, and the process will continue. Okay, so when we're looking at things in this way, and when we go out there deciding what movie to jump into, then I'd say we're talking about the level that we call the soul. And when we're looking at the movie down there and the character that's in that movie, then that character is the level that we can call the spirit, the individualized consciousness in that lifetime. So in a way, we could say the soul is the actor, and the spirit then is the part that the person is playing, the character that they're playing in a particular lifetime. So we come into a certain lifetime as a baby. We're suddenly discovering what is this thing, this body, and how does it work, and then we interact with our next level of surroundings, our connections with our parents, and then we make some sounds. Mama, everybody makes a big deal about it, rewards us with a lot of love. We learn something, wow, and we live for love, we need more. So we continue to learn. And pretty soon what happens is we identify ourselves by what we know rather than by who we are. And then we develop this level that people call the personality or the ego. So the personality or the ego is, for most people, their level of everyday attention. So we have this level of everyday attention here, and when something comes up and it's not resolved, we put it away down there somewhere to a deeper level of our consciousness where it's still running. So that deeper level of our consciousness where it's still running, that's what the Western traditions are calling the subconscious or the unconscious. But that's who we really are. So when we hear you had a subconscious wish for that to happen, it means the real you wanted that to happen. So that's the real you. The level of the spirit, level of personality is who you think you are. But the level of the spirit is who you really are. And so what we do is we make the subconscious or the unconscious conscious when we're looking at the body-mind relationship and seeing the message of the symptoms. Then we're saying this is the message from that level of our being, from who we really are, the level of the spirit that the again others refer to as the subconscious or the unconscious. But the level of personality is our sense of identifying with our mind and with our mental processes. And yet, the people that we consider evolved are those who have succeeded in quieting their mind, in turning off their mind, at least for periods of time. But because people identify themselves by their mental activity, it's I think, therefore I am. They equate existence with thinking. And then they're afraid to stop thinking because what's going to happen? I mean, it's oblivion, it's unknown, and they have to learn to trust that. And as people do more and more meditation and allow themselves to go more and more quiet, they can experience periods of time where their mind can go quiet and hey, I'm not thinking, but I'm still experiencing. I'm experiencing something, you know. And so some people are using as meditation, just watching their breathing. And I remember when I first heard about that, I thought, okay, I watch my breathing. It's boring. Nothing's happening. You know, I didn't know what the whole purpose of it was. But the objective was just to hold attention on something happening in the present moment. And when your attention is on something happening in the present moment, that attention has to come away from the thoughts and from the thinking processes. And that's what allows the mind to become more quiet and eventually to stop and to be engaged when we choose to engage it, or to let it rest when we don't particularly need it in the present moment. And when we do that, then we're able to be more directly in touch with this deeper part of our consciousness, with the level that we call the spirit, and being aware of why we do things, what's the motivation behind our actions, looking at ourselves in a way like observing ourselves from 1 meter behind ourselves. It's we can see the outer theater, but we can understand why we're doing that. What is the expected response we are soliciting, or what's the purpose of this outer theater? Of course, the Western traditions tend to call this schizophrenic. You know, they put a pejorative label on anything that's, you know, not society's values. But the beings that we consider evolved are the beings who can observe things from this point of view. For myself and my own evolution, what helped me was to understand that everything that happened in my life was what I really wanted to happen at some level. And in that way, to align my level of personality with my level of spirit, to acknowledge, yeah, at some point I did decide I wanted that, and then that happened. Or at some point I did decide that I didn't want that to happen, and then it didn't happen. And so with this conscious sense of alignment, I could still use my mind, I could still engage my mind. I didn't have to destroy my mind, I didn't have to kill my ego, if you wish. I don't know, the thought of killing one's ego or destroying one's ego, it's like, why would somebody have to destroy some part of themselves in order to evolve? It's more just aligning everything in a particular direction that makes more sense and allows the person to live more consciously, more deliberately,